New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Evening Prayers. I'm your host, Rev Z, and as always, it's my pleasure to be here with you to engage in the sacred art of prayer and to raise our vibrations to the level of the divine. So I trust everyone is having a great day today as we wind down and begin to go within and just take inventory, if you will, of what has happened today and how we've increased our understanding of life and allowed the flow of the divine to do just that, to flow with us and to energize us and to allow us to be exactly who we were created to be. And so I'm happy to be here tonight. I'm on this jazzy vibe of the spring taking place where energy flows, where life flows again, and we begin to see things that appeared to be dead, maybe, as you might call it, but we see that that was only a state of being for a moment in time, for a season, if you will. And now the essence of life is flowing again. And so that just keeps me on point for myself when I get in ruts or when I feel that I'm out of sorts or that I'm not moving in the right direction. Wakes me up, gives me a point to look at. And so that I as always, I like to come up with 3 quotes to kind of center us in for the prayer. And for the first one, I like this one. Life energy flows through us like a swift stream when there is nothing to obstruct it. It will flow like a swift stream when there's nothing to obstruct it. However, if we are dealing with a lot of guilt, or if we're dealing with anger or resentment or unsureness, all these are things that will prevent that swift flow of life, that swift flow of divine energy and insight to flow through us. And so we have to begin to work with moving and removing the obstructions to the divine flow within our lives. And only you and me and each person individually knows what that is, whether it's conscious or unconscious. If it's conscious, we go to work. If it's unconscious, we go into meditation and begin to suss out what is blocking the flow, what is keeping us from moving clearly into that divine flow where life is flowing at a rate that is in tune with nature and our environment and our level of consciousness. And so once we understand that, life energy flows through us, as long as there are no obstructions, now we move to that next level of understanding and being in the flow. And so we look at what Lao Tzu says. He says, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. in whatever way they like. You see, because if we begin to try to force things too much, we will begin to create obstacles and blockages of the divine flow. And so we know that life is change. We know that things are always evolving and moving to the next level of understanding and being. And so when we can begin to allow that to take place naturally, don't read too much into it. Just stay in awareness and stay in divine energy, and it will work itself out. And we will know how to put ourselves in right position to the flow, to the obstacles, to the speeding up of the stream, and be able to adjust and make ourselves one with the flow, one with the stream, one with the river. And that's where our everyday effort should be. How do we and how can we put ourselves in alignment with the divine flow where we don't have to struggle, where we don't have to fight, where we don't have to second guess ourselves as much? Because when we're in that flow of the divine energy of life, things happen, and they happen in the right time. And we've all had those experiences, I'm sure. Now, we may have overlooked them or we may have discounted them, but we've all had those moments where we are moving in a flow or moving in a way where there's little effort put out on our parts and things just fall into place. They just hit right where they need to hit, and they allow us to continue to move forward. Even in those moments of fear, there's a clear indication, there's a clear energetic vibration that says step to the left, step forward, step. And that's what we begin to listen to when we are in tune with the infinite. When we are in tune with the infinite. And so that's what this prayer time is all about. This prayer time is about, how do I put myself in right relationship with the divine flow of life so that I can be the best that I can be, so that I can give the health and the wealth and the lessons, or learn the lessons that are needed for us to continue to move forward as spiritual beings, to create an environment that enhances and elevates everyone. And so last quote before we go into prayer by Anonymous, that famous author Anonymous, he says this, or she says this: life is like a river. The way of life is to flow with the current. To turn against it takes effort, but the current will carry you if you let it. Float with joy and ease. Float with joy and ease. Don't fight the current. Don't fight the feeling. Go with it. Allow the spirit of the divine to move us, but we got to be in tune. We got to understand the energetics that are happening. We got to understand the flow, and we have to move within the current of life, the current of divine inspiration, the current of being able to take moment by moment assessments in life, not in some crazy paralyzing way where you're scared to do anything or you're not open, but in a way that allows us to just easily and effortlessly follow the flow. Know when to lean left, know when to lean right, know when to just lay back and pay attention. Pay attention. And so with that understanding of life and the flow and being in tune with it, let's go into prayer. And so right here in this moment called now, where the only thing that exists, the only thing that always exists, is the power, the presence, and the intelligence of the divine. That entity that we call God sometime, or Allah sometime, or Yahweh sometimes, or Buddha, or the Tao, or there's so many different names that we try to use to describe this infinite power and presence. But we know that none of them fully captures the presence of the divine. And so it is that understanding that we call forth and recognize within ourselves and within each other when we see each other, when we speak to each other, so that we can continue to elevate that presence that is in each and everything in this universe to its highest level. And because I know that to be true for me and for you and for anyone else that may hear this message, I know that we are awakening to the greatness that is within us, that we are allowing our lives to be easily and effortlessly guided down the river of life. Because that is who and what each and every one of us are. And so with that understanding, with that declaration, with that clear vision of life and us within it, I declare right here, right now, that each and every one of us are letting go the obstacles. We are removing the barriers. We are letting go of the excuses for why we are not activated in life to our fullest extent. We're forgiving whatever needs to be forgiven. We're releasing all those bad conversations we have with ourselves about ourselves. And we are stepping into a field, a stream, a current that is forgiving, that is loving, that is supportive, that allows us to get into a groove, if you will, that allows the expression of the divine to show through. And so I know that that is true for each and every one of us right here, right now. And that we are owning it and accepting it and wearing it as a badge of courage, as a badge of honor, as a badge of surrender to the Most High God. And so it is for that understanding that I give thanks. I give thanks for this opportunity for us to share this word, for us to go within ourselves and to recognize who and what we are and to stand up to the challenge. Because that is the thanksgiving of grace. That is the thanksgiving of surrender. And so in that thanksgiving and surrender, I just release these words, this prayer, this idea of each and every one of us into a law that is infallible, that is activated right here, right now, and that is calling us forth to be the best that we can be. And so with that, I release, I let go. I know that it is so. And so it is. Amen, amen, and amen. And so I enjoy these prayers because they wake me up every time. I hope each and every one of you are being ignited or excited or whatever the case might be, to continue each and every one of us to grow, to move forward, to ask questions, to seek new ways of expression, new ways of being, because that's what this is about. And so, as always, I'd like to call for anyone that's in need of prayer to please send your prayer to prayer@ntmedia.org, whether it's for a person, place, thing, or situation. Does not matter. Whether it's for healing, revealing, or just plain celebration. Prayer works. And so I look forward to seeing something from you if it's in need. And if not, we know that it is all taken care in the mind of God. And so we also want to thank all those who support the network by any donation you can give. It helps us keep this program and all the programs we have on the air. So please give wherever you can, whatever you can, by going to www.ntmedia.org and press the donate button and give as you can. And so with that, I am just overjoyed with everyone that's here, and we want to give shout outs to Hope. How you doing, Hope? We're glad you're here, coming in from Arizona. We got Wayne showing up out of Canada. How you doing, my brother? We're glad you're here. And tell a friend to tell another friend to come on in and join this prayer thing so we can elevate the level of consciousness and spirit that is here. I want to say hello to Kathy, who's jumping in here. And we know all is well. And so with that, I will send each and every one of us away with a blessed evening and a very good night. And so peace and blessings, love and light to all as we continue on this journey called life. And so it is. Amen.